Hey, Chris Grove here with another video. Today we're doing a review of the 1985 movie Just One of the Guys. Just One of the Guys is, well, let's see, it stars Joyce Heiser as Terry, Billy Jacoby as Buddy, William Zabka as Greg, Clayton Ronner as Rick, Sherilyn Fenn as Sandy, and Tony Hudson as Denise. And it was directed by Lisa Gottlieb. This was kind of a 1985 teen coming of age, feminist sort of movie, kind of, I guess, a little bit. It basically is about a high school journalist played by Joyce Heiser, and she didn't win this summer internship. She's like a senior and didn't win this summer internship at the local paper in her town, which I believe is Phoenix, because everything's filmed there. Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. And she thinks it's because, she's a girl, and if she were just a boy, they'd give it to her. Spoiler alert, that is not the case. The case is that she's a good writer, but she's kind of boring. But she doesn't really learn that till later. So this is sort of a lesson for a lot of people, including her chauvinistic journalism teacher. And they both kind of have sort of a coming to Jesus moment where they're basically like, I should have not doubted you, and blah blah blah, and that kind of thing. But you did a really good job at the end, kind of wrapping it up, kind of deal. What makes this movie great, in my opinion, is it tackles a tough subject, which is, well, feminism, I guess, and do guys have it better than girls? In the tradition of Tootsie and Yentl, she poses as a boy and goes to the school across town to do her journalism thing and see if she can win the internship that way. Now, how do you... I mean, obviously she had to get a variance and this, that, and the other, and as a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, I was in high school in the late 80s, early 90s. Back then, it was pretty easy to get a variance, so I don't know. I mean, I guess today it's not as easy, but hey, everything's still doable. So, with the help of her younger brother, and I say younger brother, he's like 15, so she's like 17, 18, 'cause she's a senior and he's a freshman. And her younger brother is Buddy, played by the wonderful Billy Jacoby, who later started going by Billy Jayne, Jayne. So I don't know if that was like a stepdad's name or whatever, but anyway, I call him here Billy Jacoby, but I guess now he is Billy Jayne, so sure, I recognize both, whatever, that's cool. He is really the heart and soul of this film. He makes this movie because he is so relentlessly horny. He wants to basically fuck all her friends and just have a grand old time. I mean, he's hitting on everyone, including a brick wall. If there was one sexy enough for him to be in front of him, he would hit on that. He'd hit on a planter box. I mean, this guy is ready to go. And as a teenager, I can kind of relate to him, and he's hilarious as hell. I mean, he is just really funny. But he's the one who has to be Terry's coach on how to basically be a dude. And the only people that really know about her other identity, well, her identity is basically her best friend, Tony Hudson, Tony Hudson, who plays Denise, and Billy, or Buddy. That's basically it. Those are the only two people that know her secret identity. So she goes off to this other school to see if she can win this journalism contest and win this summer internship. And it's all about the ride, you know. It's all about the ride. It's got a lot of 80s cheesiness to it. I mean, there are Stu Charno, Stu Charno was the guy in Friday the 13th Part 2, if you've seen that, who, spoiler alert again, survives that film because he stays at an after-hours bar. And, but then he gets killed in the movie Christine, John Carpenter's Christine, when he blows up with a gas station. Because he hangs out with Buddy Rafferty's crowd, and that's a bad crowd, so don't hang out with Buddy Rafferty. He also looks like a young John Travolta. Trouble. So, anywho, she goes to this new school, and she didn't really plan things through all that well. Like, first of all, she's got like PE, you know, she's got to take gym, which most seniors kind of blow off gym, or you take an elective or study hall or something, because we've done the gym thing. The gym is for like freshmen, sophomores, maybe juniors. You know, once you're a senior, you're kind of like, I don't know. I thought you basically just go for like half the day in some states and don't worry about the rest of it. I mean, you're almost graduating, so there you are. Anyway, she's got to do gym, and she's got to suit up for gym. And apparently this guy likes to do jock inspections and all that good stuff. And he's a big bowling nut, her gym coach. And so she's just like, all right, what do I do here? How do I, you know? So she fakes a cramp, like a stomach ache or whatever, appendicitis, and gets out of it and goes to study hall. And somehow just does study hall for the rest of the film. But we won't worry too much about that. So it never really becomes an issue again. What does become an issue is she ends up befriending Clayton Ronner's character, Rick Morehouse. And Rick he's kind of a nerd, but he's an attractive nerd. He's into music, you know. And she meets him right after meeting the school bully, played by Billy Zabka. William Zabka from The Karate Kid. And this is considered William Zabka's Billy's second foray into playing a bully. There's sort of an unofficial trilogy. The Karate Kid, Just One of the Guys, and 1986's Rodney Dangerfield epic, Back to School. And he plays kind of a jerk star diver, you know, college diver in that movie. So this is the second in the William Zabka plays a bully trilogy. And he does a great job here. You know, he's fresh off The Karate Kid. And amazingly enough, Joyce Heiser, especially when she cuts her hair and poses as a boy, she looks a lot like Ralph Macchio. In fact, there's another gal, a student, who has a crush on her, played by Sherilyn Fenner, and this character's name is Sandy. And Sandy is basically like looking... So before Terry does her makeover as a boy, she's an attractive woman. In fact, everyone's like, you should be a model. You know, she's got long, you know, thick, curly, dark hair. You know, it was so popular in 1985. And she's got the fashions going on, and she looks great, you know. And, you know, her boyfriend, who's played by Lee McCloskey, is like a frat guy who's basically like, hey, you know, you should be a model. And her teacher's like, you should be a model. And journalism instructor's like, you should be a model. And everyone's telling her to be a model. And she's like, fuck you all. I want to be a reporter, you know, and I'm going to be a reporter, and damn you, and such. And so she wants to be a reporter. And she wants to be taken seriously as a female reporter, and God bless her for it. You know, I mean, that's great. You know, I support her 100%. I was going to say like 110% or 150%, but are those real numbers? Anyway. And I was not a math guy, by the way, but I know those are not real numbers. You can't do 150% out of 100. Anyway, so she gives it her all, and she kind of is befriending Rick. Well, she is befriending Rick, and she's kind of giving him some fashion sense and some confidence, and between her and then she's also got Buddy, who's there. There's a hilarious scene where Buddy shows up at the school, and her boyfriend's name is Kevin, and she's like, Billy, or Buddy. There's too many Billies and Buddies here. Buddy is like, hey, so Kevin, Lee McCloskey's character, he called, but he can't say Kevin in front of Rick because Rick thinks, she's a dude. Is like, Kavina called. Now, you know how much Kavina worships your hairy chest and rippling muscles. Show me hairy chest. Oh, Terry's such a stallion, he's just getting her shit, basically, and it's fun, and we're all there for it, and he's great. When he's not being horny, he's hilarious, and he's really funny. He's genuinely funny, and he makes this movie. There's even a scene where he's trying to get his, turn on his study partner, and she's not really having it. And there's a scene where he tries to seduce Sherilyn Fenn because, she shows up right when Kevin shows up, and I got to switch out from being a boy to back to being a girl, and and luckily her name is Terry, so that's not a problem. Highly androgynous name, Terrence or Terry. There you go. Anyway, so he's. There's scenes where he's just basically like, well, okay, Sherilyn Fenn, I'm gonna go ahead and seduce you now. And of course, they got to pretend like Buddy's room is now her room, and he's got nude posters on the wall of centerfolds and shit like that. And he's like, but I respect these women, because as Buddy has said before, he respects these women as well. She studies Vonnegut in the library, nude, because that library is so damn hot, and all that stuff, So it's just, it's an interesting, he's an interesting character. So she's got to play off on that, pretend that she's a dude, and play off the nude posters on the wall, or semi-nude. And, hey, we all remember the mall, we all remember Spencer's Gifts, but this was like full on, Playboy kind of stuff happening. Maybe a few Penthouse and Hustler photos, centerfolds mixed in. But even called centerfolds and Penthouse and Hustler, I don't even know. Anyway. So, Buddy is just one horny bastard, and he's great, and we're there for it, and he really is fun. And there's a line where he's just so distraught. A couple lines are great, like after missing out with his study partner, who's tutoring him, I think, he's like, she leaves, and there's a line where he's like, would it make a difference if I told you I was hung like a bear? He's like, are you? He's like, no. It's just great. It's just perfect, There's also another line where, he literally looks down, I think right after this scene, and just goes, sorry, Spike. So I've been using Spike ever since. Anyway, so that's the thing. These people really are... What makes the movie is these people are likable. They're really likable. The cast is likable, and they're fun. And a few years ago, they actually did a reunion, and they all look great. I thought, and they're all cracking up over this role. They did a screening and a Q&A, and it was just, with the director, Louisa Galib, and the cast, and everyone was there. It was just awesome. So... It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie about self-discovery. and learning a little bit about yourself, and it is pro-feminist, which I totally support, but it doesn't preach that to you. It plays like Tootsie, basically, like a high school version of Tootsie. So, or Yentl, I guess, with Barbra Streisand, the Yentl movie from back in the day. But I never actually saw that, so I'll actually have to see that. I've read about it, yeah, I know about it, but I'll actually have to see that movie and let you know for sure. But I highly recommend it. It is a good film. It's funny, it's poignant. The kind of weird 80s cheesiness of it, though, is when I was going back to some of the nerdy characters, like Stu Charno. He plays just a character that's just, like, he likes reptiles. He just hangs out with reptiles. He even takes reptiles to the prom, in the prom scene. And, you know, it's quirky and it's adorable and he's great. And he's not all that annoying. What is annoying, though, are a couple characters, and they can be slightly annoying. I mean, when I was 12 and I first saw this movie, I thought they were hysterical, but there are these two nerdy characters, and one of them's played by Ari Gross, and he was kind of a 80s staple, but they pretend to be aliens. Like, they're not really students, they're just here to observe, so they don't really do homework. I guess they're smart, but they're not like Revenge of the Nerds smart. They're probably not getting straight A's, you know. In fact, their teachers are like, you don't do any work here, you're not doing anything, you know, you're not, yeah. Anyway, so what are you doing, you know? And we are aliens. And yeah, it's just it's a cheesy, wacky 1985 bit that they're doing that I don't think has really aged all that well, you know, but it's, back then, especially if you're 12, it's fun, I guess. I don't know. So she ends up falling in love with Rick. And there's a big prom sequence, and Rick challenges Greg by calling him out. Greg likes to, he's like a weightlifter guy. He's not a karate guy. Greg, you know, William Zabka's character, he's not a karate guy in this movie. He likes to bench press cafeteria tables and freshmen, you know. Basically like lifting them up by their underwear, looks like, you know. And that's what he does. And it's his game, but he's not a karate guy in this. He's not a Cobra Kai. So Rick calls him out and basically is just, he's had it, and he basically says, you know, he's doing this, you know, he embarrasses him in front of the cafeteria, and it's a brilliant scene, and he just humiliates him, and, you know, calls out his muscle-bound prowess for lack of IQ or having a small penis, you know, and, you know, I guess those in, you know, Greg's gym class certainly know the answer to that one, and, you know, so it's, it's 80s. It's kind of, I mean, I look at that scene now and I like it, but it's also very 80s, kind of cheesy, and that's how we take on the bully back then. And it's fun. It is fun, you know, it is. I mean, yeah, you do it. And it works. So, you know, at the prom, there's the big reveal, and Terry's got to reveal herself, you know, and I won't go into how that happens or what transpires, because, you know, I want you all to watch the film and see for yourself. But it's pretty brilliant. It's pretty good, and the way it pays off is really nice. This movie has a killer soundtrack. Love the soundtrack to this. It's just got a lot of solid stuff from back then. They talk about music a lot. Rick's character is just a huge James Brown fan, which is kind of odd in 1982 if you're like a nerdy white boy to be into James Brown, but hey, why not, you know? He's got soul. I always thought that was kind of a unique choice, and I was there for it. So yeah, I like that. What else can I say about this movie? It's, besides the 80s cheesiness and some of the more juvenile, nerdy guys being aliens type thing happening, it really works. It really does work, and it's a fun movie. It's a fun watch. I haven't done a review for a while, so I kind of forgot how to do like formats almost. Like, I feel like I'm all over this myself in this review a little bit. Like, I'm just kind of like, hey, this movie, this happened, and So I kind of took my notes. I'm just pulling from them, and for me, this film is all about Billy Jacoby's character. He is just really hilarious. I know I've said it before, but I can't say it enough, because he is just really funny, and he is worth it alone to me. I also like the fact that Joyce Heiser does resemble the Karate Kid, and according to Sherilyn Fenn's character Sandy, who says, "Oh yeah, she looks like the Karate Kid, dresses like Elvis Costello. I'm gonna get him." So when she cuts her hair, yes, she looks like Ralph Macchio dressed as Elvis Costello, and that is a vibe right there that I can get down with. So that's great. So 1985 is just one of the guys. Check it out, laugh, let me know what you think of it. It's free on YouTube, so enjoy. Till next time, this is Chris Grove. And remember, life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, so live it. Amen. Take care. And happy 4th of July, even though it's the 5th. Bye-bye.